Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, November 26. The Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, says there is a window of opportunity for economic growth resulting from the demographic dividend, which now has the country's working-age citizens comprising the largest portion of the population. Persons falling within the working age range of 15 to 64 years now represent 69.7% of the overall population of 2.9 million persons.
The demographic dividend is the economic growth potential that can result from shifts in a population's age structure, mainly when the share of the working age population is disproportionately larger than the dependent population, that's persons 14 years and younger, as well as those 65 years and older.
PIOJ's Director General was speaking at the Institute's quarterly briefing last Tuesday. He argued that the increase in the working age population relative to dependents provided the country with a tremendous opportunity to boost economic growth.
Mainly through one, an increase in the labor supply. Lower dependence ratios may facilitate an increase in labor force participation and employment, especially for groups that are typically underrepresented.
The Heart Foundation of Jamaica is calling for front-of-package food labeling that will help consumers make healthier choices. The foundation's Global Health Advocacy Project Officer, Vanetta Nurse, says important facts and information provided by this type of labeling standard would help in the fight against non-communicable diseases, NCDs.
In Jamaica, currently, the Nutrition Facts panel on our products isn't mandatory for all food items. So you'll find that some products don't have the label, and there are also difficulties in understanding the label in its current form. So what we are calling for is simple front-of-package labeling on the front of food packages to allow consumers to know what is in the food and allow healthier choices.
Ms. Nurse was speaking at a recent JIS think tank. As government moves closer to making front-of-package labeling mandatory in Jamaica, it is currently revising the 2010 CARICOM Regional Standard for Specification for Labeling of Pre-Packaged Goods. The Bureau of Standards Jamaica BSJ is carrying out assessments to inform the new food labeling model, as well as to draft standards for submission to the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality.
You will now be required to have your nutritional facts stated, and you will accompany it with the front of pack labeling. We're looking at the high-end model, which makes it easy for the average consumer to be able to interpret the information on the product label.
In 2018, CARICOM leaders endorsed front-of-package labeling as a priority area in the fight against NCDs. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has ordered an audit of water usage at the Kingston Public and Victoria Jubilee hospitals. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says water use and associated costs are not aligned.
I checked and I was told that last month we paid some $6.4 million for water bill. And if you do a calculation on water usage and juxtapose that against the bill, then one has to conclude that something is wrong.
He said steps would be taken to correct what appears to be a high rate of leakage as soon as the report is in. Meanwhile, the KPH's chairperson, Dr. Stephanie Reid, says other strategies are being looked at to create efficiency in water usage at the institution.
So, for instance, we recognize that our boiler system is inefficient, and we need to ensure that we get that boiler system up to the level where the boiler system is actually working and recycling water, so it does not pull water from the main on a daily basis.
Dr. Reid and Minister Tufton were speaking on Friday as both the KPH and Victoria Jubilee officially received a donation of 30 water storage tanks. Winners of the 2019 JIS Heritage Competition have been announced. Stephen Bernard of Somerton All-Age and Infant School in St. James won the essay segment of the competition, which targeted primary level students. He made the strongest case for Jamaica to be compensated for the effects of slavery. The poster competition for secondary level students was won by Curtis Clennon of Cornwall College in St. James, while Yon Gordon of the Michael University College won the photography contest, which was open to tertiary students. Both categories explored the topic, Jamaica, a case for reparation. Chief Executive Officer of the JIS, Donna Marie Rowe, says the students articulated the themes well.
The primary level students grasped the issues with a level of maturity that comes with in-depth research, What we saw was not mere regurgitation of ideas spouted by the learned scholars and leading advocates on the subject. We saw strong and valid points being raised, possible counter-arguments being anticipated and settled, as good debaters are to do. The poster and photo entries, they reflect not just artistic dexterity and composure, but an understanding of the subject matter, and their work heralds their message loud and clear.
Meanwhile, Minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister, Mike Henry, stressed the need to fight for compensation for the chattel slavery that was once practiced in Jamaica and other Caribbean countries.
Chattel, which means you're a property, which means you're like a cow, a goat, a handbag, a broom, a building, whatever you wish. A chattel is something you own and dispose of and throw away and discard and forget about. So I want to clear every mind that I am not fighting slavery as a way of life, which speaks to social disintegration.
And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.